Start out with a few thoughts on the game, please, and then we'll take questions.
Yeah, so we finally played the game after a long stretch. We were excited to, get back out there, play someone other than ourselves. I felt like we got off to a good start. We knew it was going to be a tough game. This team is really physical. I felt like, sometimes we were physical, sometimes we weren't. Same for them. I felt like in the end, it came down to the fact that we just, as a team, we didn't make shots. And I feel like we still stayed together and wanted to execute. We did execute, we just didn't make shots. So.
Questions for Janelle? Nobody got questions? All right.
Hey, Janelle, I got a question for you.
Okay.
What was it like having the layoff and just the uncertainty and just the season continuing to be so strange? What's it all like for you?
This is my senior season, so I wouldn't have, picture this, but it is what it is. I feel like just have to control the controllable. I feel like, for the past few weeks, we've been controlling that, just staying together. And I feel like we had a good week of practice leading up into this game and before that as well. So I feel like, in the season of uncertainty, we just need to continue to stay together and just control what we can. I feel like we just did our best with that in the gym, shooting, working together as a team about, how we can continue to get better. I do feel like this team that played today is better than when we played Miami last time. So, and I don't know if you guys saw that, but I know Styles out there playing. I saw it. And I know that we're going to continue to get better. And now we're going to, have to work a little harder with the must-win games. But, yeah, season of uncertainty, so just control the controllable.
I know you wouldn't make excuses, but, 3 weeks of layoff after you've got a little momentum on your side, kind of impossible to carry that on. Did you feel like that was a factor, just kind of like you're being out there for the first time in a while?
No, I felt like we were more eager to play somebody else other than ourselves. And we get up and down in practice. It's live ball. So we're competing. We don't lay off in practice just because it's our teammate. But I felt like we were ready. I feel like we're still ready to take on anybody that's next. So.
How many practices did you all get in before this game after the pause?
I'm not sure. I don't. Yeah, we just stay together. I'm not sure about that number.
Because of how everything is going, do you have a new routine daily? Do you wake up and look at your phone and see if you guys are even still practicing, or who your opponent's going to be, if they've had to bow out or anything like that?
I try not to do that, hoping that we'll have a game every time. So I don't even want to look at my phone and see anything. So yeah, just act like it's a regular season.
And you showed yourself to be a perimeter threat today.
I feel like I've always been a perimeter threat. I just feel like it's grown out. I feel like in the beginning of the season, I wasn't hitting as much, didn't lose confidence, but just stayed in the gym and worked on it. And Coach Banghart, she just, kept imploring me to keep shooting, working on my form, and I felt like it showed today. So.
Hey, Janelle, what are some things that you guys can do to correct your mistakes before Thursday's game?
Make shots. Simple as that.
Okay, let's wrap up with Janelle. Thank you so much, Janelle.
Thank you.
All right, a few quick questions for Alyssa Ustby. Alyssa, do you want to start out with any thoughts on the game and getting back on the court, and then we'll take just a few questions?
Yeah, so like we all know, we had a long break, but now we're just getting in the groove of things, and tonight we're just gonna take another step forward.
How much rust did you think the team had coming into this game? It seemed like the shooting and the turnovers seemed to be worse than they were before the break.
Yeah, I didn't think it was much of rust. We're just like getting back into the groove and working the ball and finding open shots. And each opponent, we got to score a little bit differently, so we're just making that adjustment.
How frustrating are the stops and starts?
They're a little frustrating, but it's nothing that we can't handle, and especially because of how close we are, we get through them together.
Do you think that was a factor, though? Just the layoff and kind of getting used to playing an opponent at an ACC level again today?
That's a possibility. It definitely could have played a role, but we're good enough. So no matter how long a break is, we're ready to play. So I think that was a big impact.
And how has this affected you personally? Has it changed any of your routine? Like just wondering if you guys are going to still be playing, or if your next opponent's going to be there, or who your next opponent's going to be?
No, I don't worry about that. I'm just here to play. Whenever my coach says we're on, I'm there. So I'm just ready to go.
Awesome. Speaking of your coach, I think she's ready to go. So let's slide her on in there. Thank you.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Coach.
Hey,
How
Coach.
about a few quick thoughts from you on the game, and then we'll take questions.
Yeah, I mean, I thought when you look at, when we watch that tape back, I think there's a lot of things we're going to really like. You know, who would have thought, you know, we'd shoot so poorly? I mean, 1 for 21 from 3 in the second half. You know, to get 25 off, you get 25 offensive rebounds in a game, you win. But that you usually shoot better as well. So, you know, clearly it's hard to take the time off and then have to get right back in it. And they've had 2 games already from the break, but that's COVID. And the more I can give this team a different experience, the better. So, I thought we're moving the ball better. We're sharing it better. We're playing inside out better. We're playing inside in better. But yeah, we were a little bit rusty with our shots on kind of all facets of the game. So we just, you know, I like where we are. I like who we are. I like where we are.
How many practices did you get in before this game after the pause? When was your first practice coming after the pause?
I'm not sure. You know, I feel like every day we wake up and it's either a game or a practice or you're being told you're off. So it's kind of one of 3. And so the things that you usually had as routine and ebbs and flows and how to get your team making sure they're at their best physically on game day is kind of out the window. And so I'm just enjoying the journey with them one by one, and I'm trying to lead by example and not keep them focused on we haven't played in a while. I don't even know if they know that Miami had already played 2 games. You know, we try to not provide information that might make them feel less confident. But yeah, it's a disadvantage for sure. And, you know, it is what it is, but I like where we are. My job is to get this team better. And I'm just going to keep doing that.
So the players seem to say it's no big deal. They're just here to play. They don't think about it. They don't look at it.
Good.
Clearly, it's got to impact them in some way, though, right?
I mean, if when you shoot, we took 35 threes and made 6 of them. So we were 1 for 21 from 3, and we missed a lot of layups. So just the pace. Now, let's be clear, it's a tough matchup for us. There's probably the team that's probably the toughest matchup for us in the league because they're so senior dominant and they're so physical. And what you get with a young team is what you don't have is physicality. They haven't been in the weight room yet, you know, at the level that we need to be, et cetera. So it's never a great matchup when we play a team that's going to really be physical. So, you know, that was a tough matchup anyway, but it's going to be really hard to win if you can't make shots. But I like the shots we were getting. And we chart at the end of every game, we're going to chart how our shots were. And before Christmas, we were ball wasn't moving. We called them ball stoppers. The ball was stopping. And the ball's moving much better. And so these are open shots. And if you don't make open shots, you go down and you defend. And then if you don't make enough shots, you lose. You get back the next day and you keep getting better. And so I think we've gotten better. We just didn't make any shots.
After the loss at Wake Forest, you were highly critical of your team and that you only had a single-digit free throw attempts.
Yeah.
I think every game since then, you've had more than 20, and I think you got 10 today. Mm-hmm. What's the story there?
Well, once we got they were in a zone the entire game. They did not play one possession of man. And so typically what that does is that you got to find your gaps. And the gaps were in the high post and on the perimeter. And so if we were taking challenge threes or rush threes, which are 1-pass threes, like we did against Wake, those kids would have been out. But we weren't doing that. Ball was moving. The ball touched at least 4 guys on possessions. So they were in rhythm shots. We just didn't make them. And then as we started to get down, you start to look at the clock and you're 7 minutes to play, you're down 9. You kind of have to take an open 3 versus a challenge 2, you know, and then they kept getting into that pressure. So we couldn't get enough stops to run in transition. You know, they kind of were pretty physical with us. They really shot the ball well for what they've been doing from 3. They've been averaging, 28%, and they should go in and shoot 48%, you know. So, you know, I don't think if you play the same game 10 times, the result's the same. So we're just going to focus on what we can, get better every day.
Hey, Coach James here. What are some things that you can do in practice and in games to get Stephanie Watson more involved and get her out of a shooting slump?
We've tried everything. We tried film. We tried highlight films. We've tried seeing her in the past. We've tried. I think a little bit of it is I think she wants it so bad. She's pushing, but shooters have to make shots, and there's only so much that a coach can do for that. She gets a half hour of shots extra a day outside of practice. Every positional coach has worked with her, and we want it to go well for her, and we're going to continue to push her to make sure it does go well for her. But yeah, certainly it's not the start she would have wanted.
Coach, just one last question for me. Just because of the uncertainty of all this, do you even dread just looking at your email in the morning? What's it like, just the uncertainty of all of it?
Yeah, it's the other option is not to play, right? It's 2020 and now 21, and this is the reality. And so if we didn't like the uncertainty, then we should choose not to play. And this is not a team or a coaching staff that has any desire to stop playing. So we are gonna we'll take the uncertainty versus not. We'll be also, think about it. If I've got a young team that wants to be good really fast, next year it's going to feel like a real routine. It's going to feel like, whoa, this is kind of nice. So I'm giving them as much prep as I can. But yeah, it's obviously quite disruptive. Part of what's disruptive is you try to get them, you're trying to deal with their load, right? And so you want them to have a certain load, certain days, 2 days before game or a day before the game. And when that gets thrown off, so you have a Tuesday game or your game gets canceled, your load is off. And then when it's fall, it's Christmas break, so you don't have your scrimmage guys. So, you just, that part's a little bit tricky. But I thought, like I said, I think our team, if you watch that game, our team's better than it was against Wake. We just didn't make any shots. And so I would way rather have a better team than shoot the ball well one game and think you're good. So yeah, we have to shoot well against Virginia Tech because they can really shoot it, or we'll lose. Simple as that.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
You got it. Thanks, guys. Happy New Year.
New Year.
Thanks, everybody.